Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 11. Swayambhu Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. I'm given to speak on verses 3, 4, and 5. So I will recite 3 and 4, and 5 I will repeat. So verse number 3. Tashyar dhanushi prayujnata suvarna punkha kalam savasana vinishratatvai avivishur dvishat balam yadha vanam bhimaraha rava shikhandina. Translation by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanand Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even as Dhruva Maharaj fixed the weapon made by Narayana Rishi onto his bow, arrows with golden shafts and feathers like the wings of a swan flew out of alternate. They entered the enemy soldiers with a great hissing sound, just as peacocks enter a forest with tumultuous crowing. Next one, fourth. तैस्तिग्मधारै प्रधने शिलिमुखैर् इतस्तत पुण्यजना उपद्रुताम् तमभ्यधायन् कुपिता उदायुधा सुपर्णमुनद्धपना इवाहया. Those sharp arrows dismayed the enemy soldiers, who became almost unconscious. But various yakshas on the battlefield, in a rage against Dhruva Maharaj, somehow or other collected their weapons and attacked. Just as serpents agitated by Garuda rushed towards Garuda with appraised hoods, all the yaksha soldiers prepared to overcome Dhruva Maharaj with their upraised weapons. This one you can repeat after me, the verse number 5. Satan prashakter abhidhavato mrite nikrit baho bahor shirodharodharan ninaya lokam paramakramandalam Vrajanti nirvidyayam urdhvaretasaha. Satan prashakta abhidhavato mride nikrita bahur sirodharodharan ninaya lokam paramakramandalam vrajanti nirvidyayam urdhvaretasaha. Satan prashakter abhidhavato mride Nikrita bahur sirodharam ninaya lokam paramakramandalam vrajanti nirvidyayam urdhvaretasaha. You want to also recite? Satan prasakter abhidhavato mride Nikrita bahur sirodharodharam ninaya lokam paramarkamandalam vrajanti nirvidyayam urdhvaretasaha. Sa, he Dhruva Maharaj, Tan, all the yakshas, Prashaktai, Prashakkai, by his arrows, Abhidyavadaha, coming forward, Mride, in the battlefield, Nikrita, being separated, Bahu, arms, Uru, thighs, Shiradhara, necks, Udaran, and bellies, Ninaya, delivered, Lokam, to the planet, Param, supreme, Arkamandalam, the sun globe, Vrajanti, go, Nirbhidya, piercing, Yam, to which, Urdhvareta Saha, those who do not discharge semen at any time. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki translation. When Dhruva Maharaj, you can repeat, when Dhruva Maharaj saw the yakshas coming forward, he immediately took his arrows and cut the enemies to pieces, separating their arms, legs, heads, and bellies from their bodies. He delivered the yakshas to the planetary system, which is situated above the sun globe and which is attainable only by first-class brahmacharis who have never discharged their semen. To be killed by the Lord or by his devotees is auspicious for non-devotees. The yakshas were killed indiscriminately by Dhruva Maharaj, but they attained the planetary system attainable only for brahmacharis who never discharged their semen. As the impersonalist jnanis or the demons killed by the Lord attain Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, persons killed by a devotee of the Lord also attain Satyaloka. To reach the Satyaloka planetary system described here, one has to be elevated above the sun globe. Killing, therefore, is not always bad. If the killing is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or his devotees, or in great sacrifices, it is for the benefit of the entity killed in that way. Material so-called in non-violence is very insignificant in comparison to killing done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees. Even when a king or the state government kills a person who is a murderer, that killing is for the benefit of the murderer. For thus, he may become cleared of all sinful reactions. An important word in this verse is Urdhva Retasaha, which means brahmacharis who have never discharged semen. Celibacy is so important that even though one does not undergo any austerities, penances, or ritualistic ceremonies prescribed in the Vedas, if one simply keeps himself to pure brahmachari, not discharging his semen, the result is that after death he goes to the Satyaloka. Generally, sex life is the cause of all miseries in the material world. In the Vedic civilization, sex life is restricted in various ways. Out of the whole population of the social structure, only the grihasthas are allowed restricted sex life. All other refrain from sex. The people of this age especially do not know the value of not discharging semen. As such, they are variously entangled with material qualities and suffer an existence of struggle only. The word Urdhva Reta Saha especially indicates the Mayavadi sannyasis who undergo strict principles of austerity. But in the Bhagavad Gita 8.16, the Lord says that even if one goes to Brahmaloka, he again comes back. Abbrahma bhuvanar loka punaravartino Arjuna. Therefore, actual mukti or liberation can be attained only by devotional service because By devotional service, one can go above Brahmaloka or to the spiritual world, where from he never comes back. Mayavadi sannyasis are very proud of becoming liberated, but actual liberation is not possible unless one is in touch with the Supreme Lord in devotional service. It is said, Harim vinana mritam taranti. Without Krishna's mercy, no one can have liberation. Jai Shri Prabhupada. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मा ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हुकुम करोतु वाचालं पंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं देवतारकं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. I wasn't expecting that His Grace Shyam Kishore Prabhu will put me on the spot for this very heavy verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. I think he has an agenda in his mind when he puts me on this. I'll try to share whatever I heard from senior Vaishnavas and our acharyas, because I have no qualification, I have no realization to share on this wonderful and very instructive purport by Srila Prabhupada. So here we are talking about a battle, as we all know, we are following Srimad Bhagavatam, that Dhruva Maharaj is now trying to kill all the yakshas because his brother was killed by one yaksha. And we had a wonderful class yesterday and day before on this chapter by His Grace Param Prabhu and Yugal Kishore Prabhu. So this battle which is between these Kshatriyas. So here Dhruva Maharaj, even though he is blessed by the Lord and he had the darshan, personally had the darshan of the Lord, but he is engaged in this activity of fighting or killing the yakshas. And he is doing his dharma, but again, later as the title goes, we will hear how he is advised to stop this by Swayambhu Manu. When it comes to this kind of a battle where killing happens, Prabhupada in the purport says that if non-devotees are killed by the Supreme Lord or his dear devotees, then it is for their good. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. Killing is not bad. Let's not take that example. And then devotee killing non-devotees. So don't kill non-devotees. And you think that, oh, I'm liberating you. So that is a pure state somebody attained, like he's talking about here, Dhruva Maharaj. So we are not on that platform. So let's not take that as a norm, out of context. And at the same time, so I was contemplating, maybe it's not a bad idea to take Janma as non-devotee in those yugas where you can be killed by a devotee. At least you will attain some higher planetary systems. So that's the mercy, because there are different muktis. As Krishna killed so many demons, they all attained mukti, Sahaja, Sarupya, Samipya, Salokya, like that. And and in this 3 verses, if you see, like even the weapons are beautifully described here, and how Bhagavatam explains, like they're going like peacocks going into the forest. And our Param Prabhu is explaining like Dhruva Maharaj is taking the bow and arrow, like we're also using our bow and arrow, like our bead bag and the beads, bow and arrow. Very nice comparison by Maharaj. He was quoting. So killing is not bad, but there are many proponents who talk about non-violence. So Prabhupada also mentions in the purport about um, people who talk about non-violence. Non-violence in general is good. Yeah, you have, as spiritual practitioners, we have to be non-violent. We have to practice non-violence. But when it comes to any kind of protection you have to give, let's say somebody is abusive to another devotee or to the lordships, then you are entitled to go and um, protect the devotee or the atrocity, and you can attack back. So one time, he's always in the room. Someone was traveling, Srila Prabhupada. In the airport, he was carrying a briefcase, and many of you have read that diary chapter or heard from Maharaj, like where the security guard was, he was harsh with Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj became very angry and he threatened the security guard. He said, like, one more word of such occurrence, like, no, he said, he threatened, like, he's going to hit him, basically. So that's good because, if you are being attacked, that's fine. And as a devotee, you can tolerate. But if other devotees are attacked, it's your duty to protect. So some people pretend this non-violence. There were so many controversies on Mahatma Gandhi, who brought independence to India, but they said it's not really due to non-violence because there were so many people who fought for the independence. Many people have given their lives. And I was hearing from one of our acharyas that one person who was a proponent of this non-violence, and he said, I will never be violent in my life. And so one reporter asked him, so how many daughters you have? He said, like, I have 2 daughters. What if your daughters are attacked by somebody or they're being molested and you are there? What do you do? And he says, in any situation, he will not be violent. The reporter said, sir, you are violent. You are not non-violent because it is your dharma to protect your daughters. It is your duty. And you are saying you won't be violent, but you are. You want to be non-violent, but you are violent in a sense because of your ignorance. So this you would have heard. There is one American lady. She was complaining about a dog being tied to a pole. Dogs, they take it for, the leash is tied to a pole, and the dog is trying to move away from the pole, but it has only little circle, isn't it? Because there is, as long as that leash goes, little rope. And this lady saw that and she complained, and she made it a big issue. And the reporter came, and she was given into like such an atrocity. They are trying to mistreat or ill-treat this dog. How can somebody be so, violent or towards a dog? So the reporter asked, so I agree with you, ma'am, what did you have for breakfast? She said, I had hamburger. So where did the ham come from? By killing an animal. So you cannot be like, this is all pretenders. Like, they say like they're non-violent, but at the same time, they are eating meat. So that's what's happening. And this is a real story. There's one teacher in America. She took the students on a field trip to a slaughterhouse. These are elementary children. She took the children to a slaughterhouse. And kids saw how the cows are killed. Blood is oozing out, and all the children were throwing up. And then when they went back, they all told the parents what happened, and the parents complained to the authorities. And the principal summoned the teacher and said, how can you do this? He said, what did I do wrong? He said, how can you take children to a slaughterhouse? He said, I'm taking them to strawberry pickup. I'm taking them to apple pickup. That is the food they eat. I want to tell them what is on their plate because this is what they eat. I am just taking them to the source. What is wrong? We think logically there's nothing wrong, isn't it? Because they take students for strawberry pickup. Hey, this is where strawberries come. This is how they're grown. This is how apples are, pick up the apples. They take to the field trips. So this is what they're eating. So these are the double standards we have. People pretend about non-violence and all that. And I have some statistics which would really blow our mind. Annually, for Thanksgiving, 270 million turkeys are killed. And the latest figures say United States, they kill to 270 million turkeys, and this is just United States. And they don't live the age of past 5 months. And according to Phonalytics, which is an organization which takes statistics of animal killing and animal atrocities, said 293 million cattle were slaughtered in 2020. That was the last figures I have. And sheep, 590 million. Pigs, 1.5 billion. And the most slaughtered animal, 70 billion. So this is one famous, you would have watched this video. A lot of times it was circulated on WhatsApp. He is an advocate of vegetarianism, Paul McCartney. He made a statement, very powerful statement. It stuck to my mind. He said, if slaughterhouses have glassed walls, then everyone on this planet would be a vegetarian. If slaughterhouse have glassed walls, then everybody would be vegetarian. I would give one positive aspect to social media. Because of social media, many people are exposed now. You see a lot of young children are turning vegans. Because previously nobody knows. The children are innocent. The mom feeds on the plate and they think that is their food, then they eat. But once they grow up, because of social media, they're seeing, oh, this is so bad. And then they're turning vegans. So I'd been to Woodstock Festival once with my Guru Maharaj, and then we were in Germany. And we went to Berlin, and then we saw almost every corner you have a vegan restaurant. See, at least some change is coming because of social media. So, and killing, as it is said, if somebody is involved in killing in this without any proper authority, like as Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, the state or federal government, it has authority. If somebody has done some wrongdoing, he did killed somebody, or serial killers are there, so they can be punished, but they have authority, like an army man going into the war field. So he has authority, but he cannot misuse that in the society and then kill somebody. So, but if somebody kills, then they have to go through the reaction for that. And it could be like you will be killed, or you will go through. I was hearing to Chandramouli Somaraj, he's telling like it can be many legal battles. You are always disturbed. Anybody has gone through legal battle, particularly in India? It's such a struggle. You cannot live peacefully. Like it's like battle after battle after battle. Like it goes on till life ends, and still it will not be solved. And Maharaj was giving about this example where one of the sannyasis was approached by a disciple who was telling anything he does, he's blamed. Anything good also he is doing, everything good he is doing, but still he is getting blamed. So he went and they said, okay, they advised, okay, go and see an astrologer. So they saw, and they found out that in his previous life, without he doing anything, he was getting credits. So in this life, even though he's doing correctly, he's getting blamed. So karma acts in such a funny way, you don't know. Many people say, I don't know, I've never committed any mistake. I was attending temples. I was doing all this seva, this, but still I'm going through these difficult times, I'm emotionally, mentally, physically. But you don't know what you did in your previous lives. So we have to be very careful when it comes to karma principle. And here, Srila Prabhupada shifts the gear and talks about the second aspect, which is mentioned in the translation about a brahmachari who attains Brahmaloka or Satyaloka without who has not discharged the simon in his life, which is a severe austerity. Actually, as per Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Varnashrama Dharma, in any ashram you are in, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, or Brahmachari, you have these defined principles from our scriptures. So we are supposed to follow that. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 12, 11, it is clearly mentioned all the rules and regulations apply equal to the householder and the sannyasi, the member of the renounced order of life. The grihastha, however, he is given permission by the spiritual master to indulge in sex during the period favorable for procreation. So there is restricted allowance, but other ashrams, you have to be strictly following this celibacy. And here he is talking about how somebody can attain higher planetary systems, Brahmaloka, Satyaloka. But here the underlying principle is, Prabhupada is comparing this with austerities and penances. So austerities are very important. They are the basis for and basic principle for bhakti. Just we pass through one austerity, Nirjala Ekadasi, isn't it? So it's not easy, is it? 36 hours at least, minimum. You are fasting, not even taking a drop of water. And people who observed it, they know. Particularly, at least here is okay, like in India, the scorching sun, more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's very difficult. Even sometimes here it becomes hot. Fortunately for us, the weather at least favored us, because with that weather, no hot weather, if you're going to work, it is very austere. But austerities are a must. Austerities, Bhagavad Gita explains in the 17th chapter, 14, 15, and 16 verses. Austerity of the body, austerity of the speech, austerity of the mind. So austerity of the body, one of this is like following Ekadasi and all. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and the superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. This is Bhagavad Gita 17:14. And we have to do certain things. We can't say like being spiritual practitioners or devotees, we'll just neglect the body. Bodily austerities are needed, which will help you in your bhakti. Many of the brahmacharis, many of the spiritual masters, many of the devotees, they do yoga, meditation, even pranayama they do. And, no medicine works. Even doctor, if you go, the medicine doesn't work unless you change your way of life. कितना भी दवाई देगा काम नहीं चलेगा. You have to change the way you are leading your life. You have to bring those changes. Diabetic, or I will keep eating sweets, I'll not exercise, keep giving me medicines. There are patients like that. They don't want to do anything. So it is an austerity even to that level. So being practitioners of this process of Krishna consciousness, how we have to make the body and senses, senses. You cannot keep feeding it. Prabhupada gives this example of the tiger. How the trainer trains the tiger. They don't give food for a day. Then it becomes very aggressive. And the second day, they don't give. It becomes very aggressive. Like that, after 3-4 days, its aggressiveness drops down, down, down. Finally, it will come, it become a big pussy cat, nothing but a cat. And whatever the trainer says, it does. So our senses are like that. What we are doing? We keep feeding them. We keep feeding them our thoughts, our tongue wants a diabetic patient. Tongue wants to eat jamun, rasmalai, rasgulla, cham cham. So they keep eating, keep eating. So ears want to hear gossip. We give our ears to Gramya Katha. Very much interested. As soon as the class is over, when we step out and that, I'm talking to myself. Like this is the tendency because that's what the senses drag us, and then we keep feeding it. So His Holiness Chandramouli Maharaj made a wonderful statement. He said, if we want to change our life, we have to change our desires. If we want to change our life, we have to change our desires, isn't it? We can externally pretend you are a devotee, you are doing this and all this. But what are the desires? What are the thought processes which are going in our mind? If we are focusing on the sense objects, how do I we are in the class, but if you are meditating upon the prasadam, it's good, meditating on prasadam is transcendental, but you are not here, your attention. So the consciousness matters. We cannot keep doing the same thing and expect different results. You have to make that change. And second thing is austerity of speech. Very, very important. Because one point I would like to touch upon austerity of body. Important thing is, if you, let's say, take an example, you had a heavy dinner, late night dinner. That means you are not taking control of your body. And then what impacts it has? Many of the people who come to Mangalarti, they know. It's very hard to get up in the morning. And our rounds go all the places. You can't properly focus because of one big meal late in the night. Isn't it? So it may be austere, but you have to, try taking a light meal early in the evening and you can get up promptly and then your focus on the rounds will be good. Speech, the whole day, what we speak will have impact on our sadhana. How much Gramya Katha we are doing and how much you want to hear that gossip, what's happening, or what's happening about the devotee. उन्होंने उसको क्या बोला? You are interested in all those matters. So once I heard this story about Socrates, one of the persons came and complained to Socrates. No, I heard about like your disciple. He's doing this. Socrates said, wait, let me ask you 3 questions. What you heard, is it true or false? He said, I don't know, I'm not sure. Then Socrates said, okay, let me apply the second filter. Is it good or bad? So the person said, yeah, it's bad. Okay, doesn't matter. Let me apply the third filter. He said, is it beneficial to this person? He said, no, it's not beneficial. One is it's not, you don't know whether it is true or false. And whether it is good or bad, you're saying it is bad. And it is not beneficial to that person. Why I was telling you this? And I was appreciating this story. And if you see in Bhagavad Gita, it is nothing but we have in Bhagavad Gita this verse. Isn't it? Austerity of speech. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Somebody tells in a story form, it gets stuck, but this is a principle. Everything we have in our literature. If you see or listen to any motivational speaker, they pick up from our scriptures. They don't quote the verse, they don't quote who is the author or origin, but they use it and they make money. It's a fact. So that is austerity of speech. and austerity of mind, satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. Okay, so we have to be careful where we are going. So if we keep going the wrong way, it becomes more hard to get it the right way, isn't it? If you keep going the wrong way, that means you keep doing these things repeatedly, same gossiping and not taking care of. So it will become hard and hard for you to come to the right way. If we keep doing the right thing, and it would help us better. And you see the progress, like the patient example I gave. So life changes if they do, and then follow the doctor's principle, then it will help. Similarly, for spiritual practitioners, for us, we know the 16 rounds and then four regulative principles and associating devotees, read scriptures. So at the same time, if we are not focusing on other aspects where our thoughts are going, how we are training our mind, how we are training our body, how we are training our speech, very important. This one I heard, like all the teeth, they were very thankful to the tongue. They are very thankful, sorry, the tongue is very thankful to the teeth because they never bite. And they said, what can we, sorry, the tongue is grateful to the teeth, and teeth are also grateful to the tongue. So the teeth ask the tongue, what can we do for you? And the tongue asks, what can I do for you, to the teeth? So the teeth say, do one favor. Please talk only good things. If you talk bad things, people threaten that they are going to break your teeth, isn't it? What is the threatening they do? I'm going to break your teeth. So they said, just kindly talk good things. Don't do bad things. Otherwise, it's going to be cheek also, no? Because cheek also is saved. So you have to be, munching. So you have to be very careful when we do this. And one time, this about the austerity or the pure devotee, his consciousness and how he has control over the senses. Personal example is Srila Prabhupada, where one time Prabhupada was coming to New York, and those days devotees were very, ecstatic. They take Vyasasana to the airport. You've seen some videos, like they take the Vyasasana and then hundreds of devotees, and then you go, Prabhupada comes and then they lie flat on the floor, like paying obeisances. Even some of the sannyasis, like we served Bhakti, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, I was telling one time. So he was coming, visiting to Detroit, and he was coming at 1 o'clock. The flight was coming at 1 o'clock. And Maharaj is very strict timings. 1 o'clock, he has to have his lunch prashadam. So what do we do? So flight landed at 12:45. Maharaj, we had to serve. So we took all the prashadam, a table, small table, and a chair to the bagging area, and we served prashadam there to Maharaj. So as these things happen. Prabhupada was okay, they took the seat, and Prabhupada used to initially accept these things. Later he said, oh no, I don't want this. So he was sitting on the Vyasasana, and there are many reporters who came, and one reporter was envious of Prabhupada. He was challenged. He wanted to challenge Prabhupada. So he said, Swamiji, I have a question. Because he wanted to just challenge Prabhupada. He said, why do you need such fancy seat to sit? He thought he will, attack Prabhupada. And Prabhupada that day, he wanted to be heavy on this reporter. He wanted to smash his enviousness or ego. So what Prabhupada responded? Prabhupada responds many ways, based on time, place, and circumstance. Sometimes he is very heavy. One reporter asked, why do you have this chanting bag on your, why do you have it on your neck? And then he said, why do you have the tie? Can anybody tell why do you have the tie in the... Tell me, is there any purpose? So Prabhupada shot back like that. There's no answer. Can they say why I tie, have this tie? Anybody wore tie? It's so uncomfortable. If you sit that 1 hour, I had to, some corporate meetings, so uncomfortable. After 1 hour, just pull it out. It's so uncomfortable. So at least bead bag is not like that. It's transcendental. But anyway, here Prabhupada said, the difference between you and me, to the reporter, pointed and said, the difference between you and me, I can be in a room full of 100 naked women, but I can still be not disturbed. Can you? And every other reporter laughed at him. So he put him in his place. So that's Srila Prabhupada. He's a pure devotee. And that's his consciousness and his austerity, basically. And Prabhupada's time, this is again quoting from Chandramani Swami Maharaj, he gave sannyas initiation to 53 devotees. Some are on different platforms. But because that was the need of the hour, Maharaj states that 40 of them could not keep the ashram. But again, Maharaj adds that many of them become grihasthas, but they were wonderful, some of them become very wonderful devotees who are still serving the mission. The underlying point is, it's not easy to follow the principle stated in the second paragraph. But we have to at least try and go towards it. The other day, it was a brahmachari who came, was telling about what Prabhupada said, you have to give 50% of your earnings. Acharya Ratan Prabhu, he said, that is the norm Prabhupada said. Are we there? No, but we are taking baby steps going there, isn't it? So like that, we started with 1 round, we came to 16 rounds and continuing. So similarly, this thing, we have to be cognizant of the process given, the steps given by Srila Prabhupada. And we're all fortunate souls because we had the mercy given to us by some devotee, someone introduced to us, and taking up this process of chanting the holy names. But we have to be careful how we apply this knowledge which we are learning through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita in training our body, training our tongue in speech or in chanting, attentive chanting, or how we use our other senses like eyes or ears or nose in the holy aspects or spiritual aspects rather than being carried away in the material realm or material ocean or material energy, being influenced by the material energy. So Krishna gives the solution. It is not that he is leaving us here and then you figure it out. No. So even though a person who did a crime is put in a prison, they are not left like that, isn't it? There is corrective thing which are happening. There is a jailer who gives some assignment based on your crime. They will bring that person back to normalcy. They will try many options. Even our devotees go and do the prison preaching. They do a lot of devotees in this. They go and teach to the prisoners, and then some of the prisoners have become devotees, initiated devotees. So this process is pure, sublime, and it brings a change. You all remember that famous example where, I don't remember the devotee who wanted to steal Prabhupada's watch. He came and he saw like. And another example where somebody is a drug dealer, but he wanted to escape and then he came into temple, he took shelter. But then he was forced to follow, get up in the morning and do all that. And then finally, one day he admitted to the temple president, I am a drug dealer because of the transformation. And they said, oh, and you have to surrender yourself to the police. They took him to the judge, and the judge asked, what kind of a crime you did? And I used to do this, but so what are you doing right now? He said, I get up early in the morning at 3 o'clock, take cold water bath, and then, do this chanting, and I only eat vegetarian food. I do this, and the judge here heard all this. You're already doing all these austerities. You're pardoned. See, this austerity is very important. So it's not easy to get up early in the morning to come to Mangalarti or to do 16 rounds to follow the four regulative principles. But we all have to collectively march towards progressing on this path. So these are few things which I wanted to share. This is very heavy words. I have no qualification to expand on the second paragraph, but what I could um, share from what I heard from senior devotees, I shared. In this sharing, I'm not perfect. I would have made some mistakes. Please excuse me as your humble servant. And any discussion, comments, questions, or corrections, please. Yes, Prabhu.
Well, I'm reading second or third canto. Brahmaji somewhere says like he for his Kumaras to increase the population. So if four Kumaras get angry and they will say no, I want to be Brahmachari, I don't want these miseries. So that time Brahma get angry and red eyes will get. So this is one part. But today's part he says like if we not discharge the semen, they will go to Satyaloka. We will get confused one time. Uh, that scenario and these such scenarios. So how to take it, Brahma itself saying to increase the population. Here, this purport says, those who are not discharging semen, they will go to Satyaloka. So, and what would lead confusion?
So Prabhu has one question for the benefit of online. He's telling in what kind of Brahmaji is telling four Kumaras to increase the progeny, and Kumaras rejected, and Brahmaji becomes angry. And here in this verse, we are saying, I know one should not discharge semen, but yes, Brahmaji is given a task by the Supreme Lord. So for the task of creation. So, but the four Kumaras are in an elevated platform, and they said they cannot. And you know how they got that pure bhakti by aroma which is coming from the tulsi leaves from the feet of the Lord. So here, as we read today also, as I read 17 chapter, 14, 15 and 16, if you read the verse and the purport by Srila Prabhupada, it clearly gives, Krishna is clearly giving the different ashrams what their duty is with respect to this specific topic of indulging in sex. So sannyasi or vanaprastha or a brahmachari, they have to observe strict celibacy. And there is some concession given to a grihastha where they are allowed this act for procreation. Because it's a responsibility. If you see today's world, in India, they restrict people to have more children. Now, Japan and Korea, they are giving a lot of incentives for having children. Contrary. How can this happen? Yeah, you go to the news, you watch out. Korea, the population is coming down because the younger generation, they want to live together, but we don't want any children. No children. Japan is also facing the same problem. The way one basic thing why India is able to progress is because it has a lot of population, youth, particularly youth. So they are now ruling the whole world. You see, IT, any country. My daughter recently went to Korea and Seoul, South Korea. She said, a lot of Indians in IT. So this is how so same way, it's a mundane example, but at that time, so the whole creation has to happen and the task is given to the Kumaras. And then obviously it happened, and even Srila Prabhupada. So somebody goes and tells Prabhupada, Prabhupada, two disciples, go. And Prabhupada tells him, you take sannyas. Prabhupada tells him, you go and get married. Somebody says, Prabhupada, I want to, get into sannyas. No, you get married. Because the Guru knows what is good for you. If you go through those verses, I said, actually, you are supposed to take permission from the spiritual master even before you want to go for a child. It is laid out like that. To go to Guru Maharaj and say, Guru Maharaj, we want to have children, and then you have to get that blessing and from the Guru, so you can procreate, so that the children can be Krishna conscious, so the society can be good, and like that. That's why we also approach the spiritual master for naming ceremony. So many things, and shelter. So that's what it's not controversy, but it is an instruction which goes as Srila Prabhupada says, you get married and then have children, you become sannyasi. So like that. And a child is given independence, like we see some brahmacharis here, and when they have that instruction or they have that feeling, not everybody is brahmachari here again. I'm a grahastha, and here is a brahmachari. So that again, so all the ashrams are there in the Varnashrama Dharma, all the ashrams are there because it is not just brahmachari ashram. So grihastha ashram supports the other ashrams. Sannyasi ashram, vanaprastha ashram, brahmachari ashram is supported by grihastha ashram. So that is also needed for the society, but in a restricted way. It is not a free thing which you enjoy. Like it's not like www. Www web page. What it stands for? Wealth, women, and wine. So that is this world is teaching. Masti karo, enjoy as long as you are in this body. Who cares about it? We don't know about the next life. But our principle, I was recently listening to His Grace Gaurang Prabhu. He says, he was asked by the reporter, a very tricky question. He was asked by the reporter, tell me one question which you wanted the audience to ask, but you were never asked. And Gaurang Prabhu was smiling and he said, like, it is a tricky question you are asking me. But this is one question people never asked. How can I prepare for my death? Isn't it interesting? Anybody ask that question? No. What the question we ask? How can I be happy? How can I be free of troubles? Tell me one motivational speaker. You have hundreds of motivational speakers. Many people listen. No, they have fancy like, oh my God, like this person spoke. What do they speak about? How to be happy in this body, in this life. Isn't it? Aisa karo, like your life will be peaceful. All this. But again, this is for this life. But what our scriptures, our acharyas teach is beyond this life. They tell you how you prepare for your final exam. You like the teacher who is telling about the final exam, how you can prepare, or a teacher who says, Masti karo. Roz aao, masti karo. Don't worry about the exam. Which teacher do you like? Obviously, you went into a college or university or a school to pass out with merit, isn't it? So which teacher you want to take guidance from? The teacher who tells, masti karo, exam udhar hai. Exam ke baad hoga. Let's see. Just play. Maybe, child loves to play. But ultimately, when it comes to the final exam, miserably they'll fail. So what is the life's final exam? Death. The whole life is a preparation for death. It is not the discouraging, you should not be happy in this life. Yeah, you use your resources, have a good house, good wife, everything. But if the element of Krishna consciousness is missing, if Krishna is not in the equation, then it is a miserable life. And what you get next, how many species of life. You can be aquatic, you can be reptile, you can be this, that. So again, let us count our blessings. Let's not keep complaining. There is no end to complaining. My president is like this, my government is like this, my neighbor is like this, my wife is like this, my kid is like this, my boss is like this. You can keep complaining the whole day. What do you gain out of it? But keep counting the blessings. The life God has given. Out of all the species, He has given the human form of life, which is the rarest of rare. And how we are utilizing it? By properly following this process given to us. Do your job. Nobody is asking you to quit. So this is also our responsibility as a grihastha. We procreate Krishna conscious children, God conscious children. So the society can be very good. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Any other comment, question online or here?
Just to add, I think Gaurav wrote this recently. He said in UK he met a Krishna conscious devotee family. They have 5 children. And he said, I took picture with them because all we see around is 1 or 2 children.
Yeah.
They said, if we don't have enough devotees, things are not looking, promising or good in the future. So he said, devotees really need to take this as a responsibility and a service to raise Krishna conscious children. And according to, whatever the capacity is. But he was really impressed by the devotee in London that has 5 children. So I just wanted to share that.
Hare Krishna. For the purpose of online people, if you heard, I don't know, this guy Krishna Kumar Prabhu is telling how Garang Prabhu is glorifying one family where they have 5 children. So they were all in Krishna consciousness. So because nowadays, you have 1 or 2, but there is, necessity for having Krishna conscious children. There are other religions, I don't need to name it. They are trying to conquer the world by producing more children and occupying different, countries, even making their own, dominance. So this is very important. Actually, this reminds me, I think it is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, I think. He said, if I was a grihastha, I would have produced 100 Krishna conscious children, 100 devotees I would have produced. But of course, he has become a spiritual guru and he has produced many more, like our Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, by material realm, he has, 4 children, I think. But, if you see the whole world, how many children he has, how big a family Srila Prabhupada created. Grandchildren, and they are progressing. Like now, grandchildren are becoming sannyasis and exalted. So, thank you, Krishna, for sharing. So, Hare Krishna. So we have Ratha Yatra today in Ann Arbor. So His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhuji is requesting all the devotees to go attend and make that a success. So this is the first time they are doing after 33, 34 years. So in Ann Arbor area for the benefit of the people who are living in that area. So please make every effort to go and participate in Ratha Yatra, chant the holy names, honor the prasadam, give Krishna to other people and make this a success. Dandat pranam allo shrupa vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya Vaishnavibhyo namo namo ananta Vaishnavi.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful class. It was so inspiring. It's always so inspiring to hear from you. You are really, really an exemplified Grahastha, Prabhuji. You and Mataji, you teach us by your own example, like how to live a Krishna conscious Grahastha life. So grateful to you, Prabhuji. There were many good points in today's class. I especially liked the point where you brought about the analogy of the lion, comparing it with the senses. The more we feed the lion, the more the senses agitate, and then eventually, not feeding, the senses go down. So, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful class.
Please keep me in your prayers. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you all again for joining online. Have a wonderful day in Jagannath's mercy today. Hare Krishna. Dandat pranam allo shrupa.
Hare Krishna.